I knew something was wrong before I even made it to the building. My parking spot, the one I'd had for 18 years, right next to the side entrance, had a white Porsche Cayenne in it. New. Dealer plate still attached. Vanity plate that said, Innovate. I parked in visitor parking and walked past it. Inside the lobby, Marcus, the security guard, wouldn't look at me. Just buzzed me through without his usual morning Cal. That's when I knew. I'm Cal Braddock, 56 years old, and I'd spent 24 years designing UAV guidance systems for this company. 9 patents with my name on them. Systems that kept this place profitable through 2 recessions. And apparently, none of that mattered anymore. The conference room was on the 3rd floor. When I got there, Madison Pierce was perched on the edge of the desk like she owned it. She didn't look up from her iPad. Madison Pierce, 29 years old, MBA from Wharton, and more importantly, niece of Preston Pierce, our CEO. She'd been VP of Innovation for exactly 3 months, despite never having designed anything more complicated than a PowerPoint deck. Calvin, she said, still not looking up, we're restructuring your position, effective immediately. No preamble. No thanks for your service. Just straight to the firing squad. She slid a check across the desk. Final compensation package. I picked it up, looked at the number. $3,200. Not $3,500. Not $4,000. Exactly $3,200. This is for the month, I said. Severance package, she corrected. Calculated on a monthly basis per company policy. That number sat in my brain like a fishing lure I couldn't quite identify. Something about it felt wrong. Or maybe right. I couldn't tell yet. You should be grateful, Madison said, finally looking up. Some people don't get transition packages at all. I folded the check, slipped it into my jacket pocket. Thanks for letting me know. Security will escort you out. We need your badge. I pulled it off my belt. 24 years of access. Set it on the desk between us. She picked it up without looking at it. Leave your personal items. Someone will box them up. I'll get them myself. Company property needs to be inventoried first. I didn't argue, just walked out of that conference room and headed to my desk. The office was quiet. That thick silence you get when everyone knows something bad just happened and nobody wants to be associated with it. People I'd trained, mentored, defended in budget meetings, all suddenly very interested in their monitors. My desk was in the corner, window view of the parking lot. I could see that white Porsche from here. I opened my bottom drawer and pulled out the cardboard box I'd kept there for years. Never thought I'd need it. Started filling it with the pieces of my career. The photo of Colonel Nathaniel Braddock shaking my hand at my first patent approval. Nate was my second cousin, but more like an uncle. Fighter pilot in Vietnam. Flew F-4 Phantoms with my dad's squadron. The photo was taken on the deck of the USS Midway in '72. I was 8 years old in a too big Navy cap. Nate was crouched next to me in his flight suit, pointing at an F-4. See that bird, Callie? Your dad flew that. Kept 47 men alive for 6 months. That's what real innovation looks like. When I looked up, Madison was walking past with someone from sales. She was loud enough for me to hear. Saved us a fortune today. Time to make room for actual innovation. I kept packing. Coffee mug my old team gave me, stack of prototype sketches. The small model of my first UAV design, the one that ended up in the Smithsonian. Then I noticed the innovation wall. 15 patents displayed in frames along the main hallway. 9 of them were mine. No names on the plaques, just patent numbers and dates. But I knew which ones. US 1-2-3-4-5-6-7. US 1-4-4-5-8-2-3. US 1-0-6-6-7-8-9-1. The backbone of everything this company manufactured. Madison walked by again, stopped this time. Hey, she said, nothing personal, just business. You understand? I looked at her. Sure, you've had a great run, but we need to streamline, bring in fresh thinking. Makes sense. She seemed disappointed I wasn't arguing, walked away. I taped the box shut, carried it to the elevator. When the doors closed, I pulled out my phone, found the number I'd saved 4 years ago, Irving Feldman, patent attorney, the lawyer who'd worked with Nate when I'd first signed on. He answered on the second ring. Cal Braddock. Haven't heard from you since Nate's funeral. I need you to pull my original contract. The one Nate negotiated. Pause. The one with the compensation threshold clause? That one. Longer pause. What did they pay you? $3,200. Called it a severance package calculated on a monthly basis. I heard papers shuffling. Cal, do you remember what that clause says? Remind me. If your monthly compensation, defined as any payment representing a calendar month's work including, but not limited to salary, wages, bonuses, or severance calculated monthly, falls below $4,000, all patents authored by you and licensed to the company revert to your sole ownership. Automatic. No grace period. That fishing lure in my brain. I'd just figured out what it was. How automatic. 30 days from the date of payment. Which means, I heard calculator clicks. November 15th at 12:01 a.m., you own 9 patents that currently belong to them. I sat in my truck, looked at that white Porsche in my old parking spot. What happens if they keep using them? Patent infringement. And because they'll have clear notice of ownership transfer, damages are tripled under statute. But Cal, I don't think it'll come to that. I think they'll negotiate. How much are we talking about? Annual licensing fee of $2.4 million paid in advance each fiscal year, plus retroactive fees for unauthorized use during the 30-day period. That's roughly $575,000 calculated at triple the daily licensing rate as statutory damages. And if they're late on any payment, penalty, interest at 24% annually. I started the engine, draw up the paperwork. Cal, don't contact anyone there. Don't email, don't post, don't talk about this. Let them think you're gone. I am gone. No, you're just getting started. I drove straight to the bank, deposited that $200 check through the drive-thru, last money they'd pay me on their terms. When I got home, Trish was in the kitchen. One look at my face and she knew. What's the plan? She asked. That's why I married her. 28 years and she never wasted time on sympathy when action made more sense. Remember Nate's clause? Her eyes went wide. The patent reversion thing? They paid me $3,200. She put down her coffee. They're idiots. They're about to be very expensive idiots. I went to the bedroom and pulled the safe out from under the bed, spun the combination. Inside was my original contract, signed 24 years ago. Every page yellowed at the edges, but the ink still dark. I scanned every page that night, uploaded them to Irving's secure portal. He called back within an hour. It's airtight, Irving said. The language is crystal clear. They can't wiggle out of this. Walk me through it. Page 6, paragraph 3. Monthly compensation includes any payment representing a calendar month's work. Severance packages calculated on a monthly basis qualify. They paid you $3,200. Threshold is $4,000. The clause activates automatically 30 days from the payment date. And then what? Then you own 9 patents that are currently keeping their UAV division alive. Without those patents, they can't manufacture, can't sell, can't ship existing inventory, and because of DoD and FDA certifications tied to those systems, they can't engineer around them. Recertification would take 18 to 24 months. What if they keep using them anyway? Patent infringement with clear notice, damages triple, but they won't. They'll negotiate. And Cal, I'm drafting a licensing agreement that'll make sure you never worry about money again. I hung up and just sat there. Trish came in, handed me coffee. How bad did they screw up? She asked. Bad enough that Allison's college fund just became a non-issue. She sat down on the bed. I wish Nate could see this. He knew. He planned for it. The next 2 weeks were quiet. Too quiet. I didn't call anyone at the company, didn't email, didn't post anything, just watched from the outside while Madison strutted around like she'd won the lottery. Wes Hoffman texted me updates. Wes was 62, quality control manager for 34 years until Madison fired him 6 months ago. Said AI could do his job better. Now he worked security at a medical building for $18 an hour. But Wes still had friends inside. And every few days he'd send me intel. Madison got promoted. VP of Innovation and Acquisition now. She redecorated the corner office. Spent $40K on furniture. She's at Murphy's Bar again. Telling everyone how she streamlined operations. I didn't respond much, just thanks or noted. Wes knew something was coming. He didn't ask what. Day 7, I had to take Trish to her cardiologist, follow up on the tests from last month. The doctor was straightforward about it. The valve replacement can't wait much longer. We're looking at $85,000 for the surgery. Your insurance covers $52,000. I did the math. $33,000 out of pocket. That $200 severance sitting in my bank account suddenly felt even smaller. Trish squeezed my hand. We'll figure it out. We already did, I said. You just don't know it yet. Day 12. Madison posted on LinkedIn. Photo of her standing in front of the innovation wall. My 9 patents clearly visible in the background. Caption read, "Proud to lead this incredible legacy of innovation into the future. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions for the greater good. #leadership, #innovation, #growth mindset." I stared at that post for a full minute. Trish looked over my shoulder. "Don't engage," she said. "Let her dig." She was right. Every post, every celebration, every interview was just making the hole deeper. Day 18, my phone rang. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. When I played it back, I almost had to sit down. Nate's voice, recorded, crackly, but unmistakably him. "Callie, if you're hearing this, it means the clause activated. Irving has instructions to send this recording if the threshold is ever triggered. I want you to know something, kid. I didn't write that clause because I thought you'd need it. I wrote it because I knew they'd eventually forget what you're worth. People always do. They confuse longevity with expendability. They think because you've been there forever, you're furniture. But you're not furniture, Cal. You're the foundation, and they just kicked out their own support beam. Don't settle. Don't take the first offer. Make them pay every cent. And Cal, I'm proud of you. Your dad would be proud too. Win or lose, just remember, you built things that mattered. Love you, kid." The message was dated 4 years ago. Week before Nate died. He'd planned for this moment that far in advance. I saved it, backed it up 3 places, played it twice more. Day 29, the MIT letter arrived. Allison had applied early admission. Computer science program. When she opened the envelope, her hands were shaking. "I got in," she said. "Dad, I got in." Trish hugged her. I read the letter over their shoulders. Acceptance. Early admission. Then I saw the financial aid breakdown. Merit scholarship, $15,000 per year. Financial aid, $8,000. Total cost after aid, $31,000 per year for room and board. 4 years, $124,000. Allison was looking at me. "Dad, I can defer, work for a year, apply for more scholarships." "No," I said. "You're going, this fall, all 4 years. But we've got it covered." Trish looked at me. She knew we didn't have $31,000 sitting around, not with her surgery coming up, not with me unemployed. But she also knew that look on my face, the one that said the numbers had already been run, and the answer was yes. After Allison went to her room, Trish asked the question, "Do we really have it covered?" "We will. In about 16 hours. Day 30, November 15th. I woke up before my alarm, 5:30 a.m., sat in my home office with fresh coffee and watched my computer clock. 11:59 p.m. Rolled over to 12:00, then 12:01. Somewhere in the federal patent database, 9 ownership records were updating, company name being replaced with mine. No bells, no whistles. Just a quiet transfer of power they wouldn't notice until it was too late. Irving had the facts ready to go at 9 a.m. 1 page, professional, devastating. I didn't go back to sleep, just sat there drinking coffee and thinking about Nate's message. They confuse longevity with expendability. By 9:15, my phone rang. "It's sent," Irving said. "Fax delivered to executive floor at 9:02. I'm guessing they're reading it about now. What's it say? Patents reverted to your ownership as of 12:01 this morning. If they want to continue manufacturing, they need to sign the licensing agreement. 48 hours to respond or I file for injunction. And if they ignore it, then their entire UAV production line shuts down in 6 days, and their DoD contracts have breach clauses for IP disputes. This isn't a negotiation, Cal. This is a notification." At 9:47, unknown number. I let it ring. 10:15, same number again. I answered. "Mr. Braddock, this is Lawrence Kendrick, board chairman. I think we need to talk." Lawrence Kendrick, board chairman, 71 years old. He'd been in the room when Nate and the original founder had negotiated my contract 24 years ago. "I'm listening," I said. I've reviewed the documentation your attorney sent. The contract appears valid. It is valid. I'm sure we can reach an arrangement, perhaps a lump sum payment to reacquire the patents outright. The licensing agreement is non-negotiable, Mr. Kendrick. Annual fee paid in advance plus retroactive charges for the 30-day period. The terms are outlined in the document Irving sent. Mr. Braddock, that's $2.4 million per year, plus over $500,000 in retroactive fees. That's not sustainable for... Then stop manufacturing UAVs. I hear there's a growing market for innovation. Madison seems confident about that. Silence. Long enough that I thought he'd hung up. We need to meet, in person, tomorrow, 2 p.m. I'll be there. Have the paperwork ready to sign. I hung up before he could respond. Wes texted me at noon. Emergency board meeting happening right now. Madison got called in. She came out looking sick. What did you do? I texted back, reminded them what I'm worth. The next day I drove to the office, parked in visitor parking. That white Porsche was still in my old spot. Irving met me in the lobby. They're going to try to negotiate. Don't budge on the terms. I won't. And Cal, Madison will be in there. Don't engage. Let me handle her. We took the elevator to the executive floor. The boardroom was at the end of the hall. Through the glass walls I could see it was packed. Preston Pierce at the head of the table. Lawrence Kendrick to his right with reading glasses on and a legal pad covered in notes. The CFO, general counsel, 3 other board members I recognized. Madison in the corner, not at the table, standing against the wall with her iPad clutched in both hands. When Irving and I walked in, every head turned. Nobody stood up, nobody offered to shake hands. We sat down. Irving opened his briefcase and pulled out 3 copies of the licensing agreement, set them in the center of the table. Lawrence spoke first. Mr. Braddock, we've had our legal team review your original contract. The clause is enforceable. The patents have reverted to your ownership as of 12:01 a.m. yesterday. We're prepared to discuss terms. There are no terms to discuss, Irving said. The licensing agreement is final. Annual fee of $2.4 million paid in advance each fiscal year. Retroactive payment of $575,000 for unauthorized use during the 30-day trigger period. And all future marketing materials, product documentation, and investor presentations must acknowledge Mr. Braddock as the patent holder of record. The CFO leaned forward. That retroactive number, how did you calculate it? Irving didn't blink. Daily licensing rate of $6,575 multiplied by 30 days, tripled as statutory damages for knowing infringement. That's $591,750. We rounded down to $575,000 as a courtesy. We didn't knowingly infringe. We didn't know the patents had reverted. The contract specified automatic reversion. Lack of awareness doesn't constitute a defense, but if you'd prefer to litigate the retroactive fees, we can do that. Discovery will be extensive. The general counsel shook his head at the CFO. Message received. Madison finally spoke up. This is insane. We can't afford that. I looked at her for the first time since entering the room. You should have thought about that before you paid me $300 to $200. That was a severance package, a restructuring decision. It wasn't personal. It was my monthly compensation, which triggered a clause in my contract, a clause that your uncle's predecessor agreed to 24 years ago. Preston leaned forward. Cal, be reasonable. You're going to cripple us financially. No, Preston. I'm going to charge you fair market value for using my intellectual property. If that cripples you, maybe you shouldn't have built your entire UAV division on patents you thought you owned. We did own them. You were an employee. Work for hire. Irving slid a document across the table. Page 6, paragraph 7. Standard work for hire provisions are superseded by the compensation threshold clause. When monthly compensation fell below $4,000, ownership reverted. It's unambiguous. Lawrence picked up the licensing agreement. Read through it slowly. Set it down. If we sign this, there's no further legal action. If you sign, pay the retroactive fees within 30 days and maintain the annual licensing payments on schedule. Mr. Braddock has no interest in further litigation. He simply wants what he's owed. And if we don't sign, then we file for immediate injunction. Your manufacturing stops within 6 days. Your DoD contracts have IP dispute clauses that trigger breach penalties. Your Q4 revenue disappears, and you'll still owe the retroactive fees, except they'll compound with penalty interest at 24% annually. Lawrence looked at Preston. Preston looked at the CFO. The CFO pulled out a calculator, ran some numbers, and shook his head. "Sign it," Lawrence said. Preston picked up a pen, signed the first copy, slid it to Lawrence. He signed. Then the CFO, then General Counsel. Madison was last. Lawrence held out the pen to her. "You're VP of Innovation," he said. "You authorized the compensation package that triggered this. You sign it." Her hand shook when she took the pen. She signed all 3 copies without looking at me. Irving collected the documents, handed 1 copy to Lawrence, kept 1, gave 1 to me. I stood up. Irving stood up with me. "Pleasure doing business with you," Irving said. We walked out of that boardroom and headed to the elevator. Behind us, I heard Madison's voice. "I thought we were saving money." Preston's response was quiet but clear. "You saved $800 for 30 days. It just cost us $3 million. The elevator doors closed before I heard the rest. Irving looked at me. "How do you feel?" "Like I just got paid what I've been worth for 24 years. When we got to the lobby, I walked outside and looked up at the building. 3rd floor, corner window, my old desk. Someone else was sitting there now. I pulled out my phone. Texted Trish. "Surgery is covered. MIT is covered. We're good," she responded immediately. "I knew you would handle it. When are you coming home?" "Now. And Trish, we should look at flights to Montana. I think it's time we actually used that cabin." I got in my truck and drove away from that building for the last time, not as someone who got fired, as someone who owned the most valuable thing they had. 3 months later, Madison resigned, took a job at some tech startup that folded within 8 months. Preston retired early. Lawrence stayed on as chairman and hired a new CEO who actually understood engineering. And me? I got a new office. Not at their building, at home, where I started working on patent number 10. This time, my name was the only one on the application. The first licensing payment hit my account 6 weeks later, $2.4 million, plus the $575,000 in retroactive fees. I stared at the bank statement for a long time, not because I couldn't believe it, because it felt exactly right. Trish's surgery was scheduled for the following Tuesday. We paid the $33,000 out of pocket without touching a credit card. The hospital finance office seemed confused when I asked to pay in full up front. "Most people do payment plans," the woman said. "We're not most people. The surgery went well. Valve replacement, 3 days in the hospital, 2 weeks of recovery at home." I sat with her every day, read her news articles, brought her terrible hospital coffee that she pretended to like. "You know what's funny?" she said one afternoon. "What?" Madison probably thought she was doing the smart thing, cutting costs, making tough decisions, being a leader. She was doing math wrong. No, Cal, she wasn't doing math at all. She was doing optics. There's a difference. Trish was right. Madison had been optimizing for LinkedIn posts and board presentations, not for actual value, not for what kept the lights on. That's the thing about innovation. Real innovation isn't about disruption or fresh thinking or any of the other buzzwords people throw around. It's about solving actual problems, building things that work, creating value that lasts longer than a quarterly earnings call. I'd spent 24 years doing that. Madison had spent 3 months pretending to. Allison left for MIT in August. We drove her out there, helped her move into the dorm, met her roommate. Smart kid from California, computer science major like Allison. When it was time to leave, Allison walked us to the car. "Dad, I know what you did. I know why we can afford this." "What did I do?" Mom told me. "About the patents, about Madison, about the clause Nate put in your contract." I looked at Trish. She shrugged. "You deserve to know," Trish said. Allison hugged me. "I'm going to build things too. Things that matter. Like you and Grandpa and Nate. I know you will." We drove home from Boston in comfortable silence, stopped at a diner in upstate New York, ate mediocre pancakes, kept driving. Somewhere around Pennsylvania, Trish asked the question I'd been waiting for. "Do you miss it? The company? The office? The team?" "I miss the work. I don't miss the politics. What are you going to do now?" "Keep building. Just for myself this time." Patent number 10 took me 4 months. New guidance system for commercial drones. More efficient, more accurate, less power consumption. I filed it under my own name. No company, no licensing agreements, just mine. 2 months after filing, I got a call from a defense contractor in Virginia. They'd seen the patent application, wanted to know if I was interested in consulting work. "What's the project?" I asked. "Autonomous systems for search and rescue. We need someone who understands UAV guidance at the fundamental level." "What's the timeline?" 18 months, contract work. You set your own hours, remote if you prefer. Send me the details. I took the contract. Not because I needed the money, because the work was interesting, because search and rescue actually mattered, because I was 56 years old and I wasn't done building things yet. Wes Hoffman called me in September. We met at a coffee shop halfway between our houses. "You hear about the company?" he asked. "Which part?" "Madison's gone. Preston's gone. New CEO brought in from Boeing, guy named Kendrick's nephew actually, engineer, 30 years experience. First thing he did was call a meeting with everyone over 50 who's still there. What did he say? Said the previous administration made some personnel mistakes. Said anyone who was let go in the past year for restructuring should reach out to HR. They're rehiring people. Are you going back? Wes shook his head. I'm 62. I've got 4 years until full retirement. Medical building gig is easy. No stress. I think I'm good where I am. Smart man. What about you? They'd take you back in a heartbeat. Hell, they're probably terrified you'll stop licensing those patents. I'm not going back, Wes. That chapter's closed. He smiled. Good. You're worth more than they could ever pay you anyway. We finished our coffee, talked about his grandkids, about Trish's recovery, about Allison at MIT, normal stuff. The kind of conversation you have when the war is over and you both survived. Before he left, Wes said one more thing. You know what I tell people when they ask about what happened? I tell them Madison made an $800 decision that cost them $3 million. That's not revenge. That's just accounting. I thought about that a lot after he left. He was right. This wasn't revenge. Revenge is about anger, about getting even, about making someone hurt because they hurt you. This was about value, about knowing what you're worth and making sure you get paid for it. About building something that matters and not letting someone else take credit just because they have a fancy title and a new MBA. Nate had understood that 24 years ago when he wrote that clause. He knew that companies forget. That loyalty runs one direction until it doesn't. That the people who actually build things are the first ones cut when the spreadsheets need to look better. So, he built in protection, a trigger, a consequence for short-sighted decisions. And when Madison Pierce decided that saving $800 a month was more important than keeping the guy who'd designed their entire product line, that trigger activated. Not because of revenge, because of math. I'm working from home now. Office in the spare bedroom with a window that looks out on the backyard. Trish's garden is doing well. She planted tomatoes this year. They're almost ready to harvest. Patent number 11 is in progress. Different approach to battery management for long-range drones. I'll probably file it in December. And sometimes, when I'm stuck on a design problem, I play Nate's voicemail, the one he recorded 4 years before he died, the one that says, I'm not furniture. I'm the foundation. He was right about that too. The company learned it the expensive way. Madison learned it the hard way. And me? I already knew it. I just needed a $3,200 check to prove it.